just have a general workshop and talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
I will start off by just bringing you up to date on this past weekend. I did on Friday morning, no, I'm sorry, Thursday morning, I had a meeting with Kurt Shearing, the director of the Veterans Commission in Ohio, Mr. Moe, his staff, his assistant director, Christine Hagan, and Mayor Held, and it was a very, very good meeting. It was interesting to note that the state of Maine, which obviously is a small state compared to us, has 8 veterans homes. The state of Texas has 11. Of course, Texas is big than us, but we have 2. The one in Sandusky is filled and is doing very well. The one in Georgetown is not doing well.
Where's Georgetown?
Georgetown is down by Chillicothe.
Yeah.
And it's not doing very well at all. They had 120 beds, and I think they've only filled half of them. I think one of the major reasons is the location of the place. I think from what I hear, there was a lot of political influence in getting it in that area down there. But nevertheless,
This is a home, by the way, for
veterans
a
retirement.
retirement home or more of a nursing home? Or,
Both.
Or
Both.
a combination of both?
Combination of both. It really comes down to the state of Ohio, and this has been a problem with everything that they've been doing, is finances. But Kurt and Christine Hagan are going to put in the budget to try to get money to do a study just in Ohio on getting a veterans home here. The feasibility study, which I gave you copies of, the criteria in that study certainly matches and fits well with Stark County. The location, the number of vets, they were very impressed with that. One of the things that we want to check with the Veterans Commission upstairs is that they feel there's a lot of vets that are not registered. That we know we have a number of vets, but we're not sure if they're what facility they're in, what position they're in. There may be 127,000, maybe 150,000, but maybe 100,000 are registered with the Veterans Commission. So we want to try to get that number. But I think it was very fruitful. There were some obstacles that, and the financing is the biggest thing. Although the federal government is willing to put $14.6 million into the building of the facility, and the state of Ohio would have to come up with $10.4 million, which would bring the total, obviously, to $30 million. One of the things were in the criteria is that the land has to be donated to the Veterans Commission, and Mayor Held is willing to look at the possibility of donating Fairways golf course to the veterans. There's 103 acres there. There's some talk of a builder also building a senior citizen facility there along with the veterans. But we're going to continue meeting, and I think it looks a lot more positive than it did for the hospital. We tried to get a couple of years or a year and a half ago. There's certainly a need. The location is good. Summit County is interested in having it. Cuyahoga County is interested in having it. But we seem to be in a real good location for that. So I think it was really good meeting. We're going to meet again, hopefully in the next 2 months, to continue pursuing this. Senator Brown's office is involved. Senator Portman's office is involved. The governor, of course, is involved. His office. So hopefully this will be an effort that we can pursue. So that was.
Well, is there a timetable or even a?
No, there is no timetable, Tom. There's, as you know, the government moves very, very slowly. I think this feasibility study, which was completed in March, they're looking at probably a year before they can say, okay, this is the location we're going to have. So, and it may be even more than that. But again, I think there's a possibility of securing that here. It would create 200 permanent jobs. It would be a 168-bed facility. And one of the interesting things, Mr. Moe said, the Veterans Director, that they're building these homes on a smaller scale than they did before. In other words, instead of building a home for 200 beds, they're building homes for 100 beds. Trying to get more homes, more facilities around. That's the thinking of the veterans. So, but this calls for a 168 bed facility. So, 200 jobs. It would take 2 years to build. We looked at, and we're going to look too at Doctors Hospital. Maybe house it there, but in the criteria, they said they wanted to be near an entertainment area and they wanted to be close to a highway. Well, Doctors Hospital is not near an entertainment center and it's not close to a highway. Where Arrowhead or Fairways is 6,000 feet away from 77 and Belden Village, so that it's certainly a great opportunity for a facility. So I will let you know and keep you up to date. And I also said that all three commissioners are behind this with Mr. Moe and Kurt, and he knew that, Kurt. But I'd really like to continue pursuing that.
Mayor Held.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Ferguson tells me that he hooked up with you down in Columbus on a meeting.
Yes.
Regarding his project of trying to get a veterans home here in Stark County. Can you give us an account from your perspective?
Yeah, there's a feasibility study that's been done by the Veterans Service Commission for the state of Ohio, and it really lays out a proposal where they're looking to establish a veterans home somewhere in the northeastern Ohio area. And it's all based on need, but certainly the North Canton area is within that range of providing service to area residents where needs aren't presently being met to the level that they would like. There is a federal grant that is available, but there's also a state match. So the total cost of the program is approximately $30 million, but the next step is there has to be a state match, and that would come from the state legislature. And if we're able to get that, then of course we would be in consideration for locating a veterans home to North Canton.
And I understand, North Canton is a possible site. I understand the Arrowhead Country Club complex.
Right, that would be one. That would be one property that could be considered. Yes.
Now I understand that a condition of building such a facility is that the land has to be given.
Yes.
To what, the Veterans Administration?
Yes.
And that's a doable thing?
Yeah, what we're looking at it, when you look at the Arrowhead Country Club, or what is known as the Fairways Country Club, we own 105 acres in the middle of the city. And so it's a great asset to the city. What our hope is right now we're utilizing it as a golf course. We contracted with a management company that's managing it as a golf course. But when we look to the future, if there's a way we can bring additional jobs into the city and utilize a portion of that property, like the center core of that property for new jobs, then we certainly will consider that. And then what we'd like to do is have the periphery of the property, which would be a park or a walking track for all of our residents.
What part of the property would you envision that the veterans home would be located if it comes to North Canton?
Yeah, it would be somewhere in the middle, so that it would be the least invasive spot for our residents, so the residents in that area would be least affected by it. But again, there's a number of steps that have to be accomplished before the home's even considered. And if there's no funding by the state, then it's not going to happen this year. I think the deadline is sometime in the middle of August.
How many total acres would they need?
I believe it's only like 11 acres. 11 to 20 acres.
Out
so
of
it's just
better than
amount.
100, right?
That's correct. That's correct. So
Now,
it'd be less than 10% of the property that we own right now.
Have you discussed this at all informally with members of council?
I've spoken with our council president on this, but again, this is just a preliminary step. And so, anytime that there's any interest of bringing any jobs to the city, we always explore it.
Now, I understand that a couple...
we explore it if we consider it to be a viable option. Yeah. But usually what we like to do is gather as much information as we can, because whenever there's an opportunity to bring jobs, I mean, we'll look at numerous deals that just never come to fruition.
And I understand it's about 200 jobs might
It's
be.
about 200 jobs.
Now, the meeting that took place was last Thursday.
Yes, last Thursday.
I understand there were some area state legislators in this meeting too.
Yes, there was.
And who were
we
they?
had Kirk Schuring.
Okay.
He was State Senator Kirk Schuring, and now he's State Representative.
How about Christina Hagan? Was she
And
there
Christina
too?
Hagan. Yes, State Representative Christina Hagan was present. So it was
Did they-
myself and Commissioner Ferguson, and the two state representatives, and then also the director of the Director Moe from the Veterans Commission.
And did the state representatives feel that this was a doable thing? Again, from your perspective, in terms of the state funding.
Well, they didn't look at it specifically as North Canton as the location, because of course they're serving a much broader area.
Right.
But because the city does own property, that's certainly would be one area that would be considered. So the first step is the state funding has to come through, and that's really what the state legislators are looking at, is providing the state's funding, which I believe is like 14 or $15 million. And then of course the federal government will come through with the other half, and the total project, I believe, is about $30 million. So, once again, we can bring 200 jobs to the city of North Canton. We're going to explore it. And I think we have the resources that, if it becomes an option, we would certainly look at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.